when it's just a normal game day, or even like if you're waking up and you're in the hotel, what's kind of your game day routine?
My routine is depending what time the game is. I always gotta take a shower before I go, and then I put on my lucky underpants.
Welcome back. I'm Emma Weightman, and with me is Ashtyn Butuso. Wait a second. I got that all wrong.
Oh, no.
No,
What?
I'm Ashtyn. You're Emma.
There
Together,
we go.
We are
Pack in action. Like the Shining Twins.
Yes. Emma, what a year this week has been.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. But before we get into it, I feel like we're being watched. Do you feel like we're
What if
being
I told you we
watched?
were being watched? Yeah, on
Where?
Pac-12 Insider on Samsung TV Plus, channel 2392, on Amazon platforms, Amazon Prime Video app, which is a new thing we have to say, and Freevee on smart TVs and streaming devices. And of course, the Pac-12 Conference YouTube channel. Woo!
You did it. You crushed that.
I did not crush that.
But you did it in stride.
Sure. Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
It's another great weekend in Pac-12 sports, depending on when you're watching this.
Mhm.
Both schools on the men's hoop side are undefeated, which rocks. The Cougs have a loss and the Beavs have a loss on the women's side. So we're going to keep our fingers on the pulse there as the season goes on. I'm praying for a big season from the women's hoops at Oregon State because my heart is always with them.
Yes, it is. You love them.
That's kind of my vibe, yeah.
I will say where our hearts and some people's wallets are with the number 20 Beavs soccer team, men's soccer team. They just received a permanent endowment for their head coaching position, which is so cool. So thank you, Jim and Judy Street, whoever you are, however much money you gave. That is amazing.
Can you imagine getting paid, like having your salary locked in for like the rest of your life? Like someone's like, I'm going to pay you this dollar amount, like just forever.
No, but I'm available and I'm really cheap. So
Don't
just putting it out there if someone
tell
ever,
people that. You could have
gotten
more.
You're right.
Okay, well, the Cougs went 11-0 across all sports this weekend, which you maybe know something about.
A thing or two. So as some may know, I was in Pullman and it was so fun. So landed, went immediately to the soccer game. Soccer won 5-0 against the University of Pacific, which was super fun. Then went from soccer to men's basketball. They won. It was high scoring. It was amazing. Went to the Coug, woke up, went to football versus Utah State. They won. I was like, this is too good to be true, you guys. But it was true. All of our little friends, like Wayshawn Parker and Kyle Williams, they all had really great games. So that, of course, was incredibly endearing to see. Screamed my heart out. I'm shocked that my vocal cords have recovered. So really happy about that. And then the next morning before I left, squeezed in a quick women's basketball versus Idaho, and they also won. So just like, should I move to Pullman? Like,
I know.
Crazy.
Seems like it was a real bender, brother.
Oh, boy. But I heard a rumor that you were on a bender as well.
I was on a bender. I went behind enemy lines. I went to an SEC game. I watched Bama LSU at LSU with my friend who went to LSU. They got creamed, but I felt like I was at home because I was getting drenched and my team was losing. So just some good stuff, you know? It culturally a very wild experience. I did not have an undefeated weekend. Although I also did go to the Saints game, which was crazy, and they did win that. But I, of course, prefer the Pac regionally, Pacific Northwest, of course, but the Pac, gotta support the Pac always. I'm sorry if you're going to an SEC game.
It's okay. We understand. Nobody's mad at you.
Thank you.
But speaking of the Pac, should we talk about what's happening in 2 weeks? The Pac in Action Championship game, perhaps? Or is it too soon?
I think we should save it because I just am not emotionally ready.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll be watching it with some Beav fans, and so I will feel your presence with me, of course, as I always do. Yeah.
Great. Someday we'll get to watch a game together, I suppose. Hopefully. Maybe? Question mark?
In Ireland, like we said?
Oh my God, yes, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I didn't. Send us to Ireland.
I forgot all about that. We need to get back on that campaign.
Anyway.
Okay, we got to go to break, but up next, we got Cougs tight end Cooper Mathers joining us. Get ready, folks.
Welcome back to Pack in Action. Our Beeve specialist, Ashtyn, is off trying to get her curse reversed. It's been a whole process, but she says hi, and she is especially devastated to miss our special guest, Cooper Mathers. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh yeah, happy to be on. Thank you for having me, Emma.
Yeah, anytime. So how are you? Big win. Super, super good. Are you feeling good?
Feeling good. Body's feeling good. So thankful, 8-1, just keep on trying to go 1-0 and end the season on a high note.
Yeah, definitely. So are you guys getting ready for New Mexico?
Yeah. We started our preparation yesterday and preparing for them. But yeah.
Good. Okay. So you are traveling down there. Do you have like a specific travel routine? Like, what are you listening to? Do you have an airplane snack?
Well, we'll get some snacks on the plane. I bring my Nintendo Switch, so I'm playing some Mario Kart half the time, or I'm just playing like some word game on my phone.
Oh, nice. Are you a Wordle guy?
It's like Wordle basically. It's like the 6 letters where you like make a bunch of different words in like a crossword thing. So I do that one a lot recently.
Nice, good for the
I got
brain.
into that. And yeah, that's about it. That's usually what I do, listen to music on the plane.
Cool. So when it's just a normal game day, or even like if you're waking up and you're in the hotel, what's kind of your game day routine?
My routine is depending what time the game is. I always gotta take a shower before I go, and then I put on my lucky underpants, which is like a golden retriever wearing a coconut bra and stuff like that. So I wear those
fun.
every time to the game, and then once I get there, what do I do? Nothing that crazy. I just do the same like warm up routine. Nothing that crazy, but.
Well, it appears to be working. We were digging up some of your stats, and 60% of your catches are touchdowns, which is pretty crazy. You've had 6 so far this season. What has that arc been like for you going forward?
Yeah, it's been wild. I guess I'm just blessed to be in those situations, and it's just happening a lot. A lot of the time I get it, and I'm getting the ball in the red zone, so it's nice. It's fun. It's fun catching touchdowns. So.
Yeah. But we didn't, at least, so I was at the game this past weekend against Utah State, and you just like got pretty much right back to work. Like I saw you touchdown, handed the ball to the ref, started walking on back. No Sally dance?
Yeah, I did one the week before, and because my sisters and everybody, they were giving me for not doing any celebrations before, and I was like, all right, what do you want me to hit? And then they're like, they decided on the stanky leg. So then I did the stanky leg, and then just the photos don't look good because one of my teammates ran up behind me and was like, it wasn't paying attention. It was like that. So it was funny, but
I had no idea this was a theme for you. I'm so sorry to have brought up that.
Oh no. Yeah, it was funny. It was funny. So I didn't do one this week, but I might hit one next time.
Okay. Well, we'll have to keep an eye out. The show we'll be watching
from some teammates and stuff. So
yeah, there were a lot of clever ones this game, I feel like.
Yeah.
So how is the team preparing? Like, what's your mentality going into New Mexico?
Just take it one game at a time. Like they don't have the best record, but like they're still a good team. Every team we play, every college team they got good players and they're capable of winning. So we can't take any team lightly. That's the biggest mindset we have going forward with these last 3 games. Just playing to our standard and doing what we do.
That's awesome. So I have one last little thing for you. Your name is Cooper, obviously. I would love to ask you, there's a couple other Coopers floating around the sports sphere. So if you would be able to rank the following athletes that are also named Cooper, we have Cooper Flag, who plays for Duke. We have Cooper Kupp, the wide receiver for the Rams, and Cooper Rush, quarterback for the Cowboys.
Kupp, obviously number 1, Washington guy. He's also like one of my favorite players, probably my favorite player in the NFL, because he's from Washington and he's really good. So, and he's named Cooper. So, we got three things going for him. And I'd probably say I don't really know much about either Cooper Flag or Rush, but I'd go Rush because he's in the NFL. The other guy's got to prove himself a little more before I hop on his bandwagon.
Yeah, you don't want to commit too soon.
Yeah,
that's fair. Well,
but I'm sure he'll be really good. He looks really good.
That's awesome.
What I've seen.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Cooper. This was so fun. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast.
Yeah. Anytime. Go Cougs.
All right. Go Cougs.
Welcome back. We're talking all kinds of sports here on Pack in Action today. We've got all kinds of things happening simultaneously for Beavs and Cougs, across the board, soccer, basketball, football, all of it. And because women can be anything, even knowledgeable and able to juggle many things, we're covering it all. But for now, we've got former SC quarterback and current football analyst at CW Sports, Max Browne. Welcome, Max.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for hanging. We didn't talk about this before, but I was at the network before a couple years, I think, before you, when you were playing. So obviously, like, I know that you're a legendary SC quarterback, so you've played all over. But what was it like playing in Pullman and in Corvallis specifically?
Yeah, and I take no offense to anyone that disagrees with that legendary comment, because I did not have the illustrious career that a lot of USC quarterbacks have had in recent memory. But it was amazing. I'm a Northwest guy, so I grew up outside Seattle. I'm not like a lot of the other USC quarterbacks that are from Southern California. So I always loved coming up to the Northwest, like regardless of which 4 school it was. But we had Corvallis on a Friday night. That was amazing. That was in 2013, with the year the Chainsaw song came out.
Oh, we don't really talk about that song.
But it's funny because now, I literally was calling a game in Corvallis, 3 weeks ago when they revealed the Chainsaw statue that they have. Yeah. And I was literally like, man, 2013, that's when the song came out. And then Washington State was one of the coldest games I ever played in. That was not fun, but it was fun playing against my best friend as well. And I love Pullman as well.
Oh my gosh, who's your friend?
Peyton Pallure. You talk about a legendary linebacker.
That's my gosh. Yeah, big fan. Big fan of these parts.
Wow, Palouse is basically in the name. That's crazy.
We go way back. He was his dad, who recently passed, and another Coug legend. He was my youth football coach, and Peyton and I were on the same third grade football team. And he's maybe the best linebacker in Coug history.
Whoa.
I'm not going to argue that. I think some people might, but not me. I'm sorry it was chilly, but we are known for that. So,
well, he knows. Yeah. I mean, he was born in it, molded by it. What's the Bane quote?
And then I went straight to from playing into broadcasting, and so I've never done the fan side of things except for one game. I went to Pullman when they played Justin Herbert in Oregon for College Game Day, Peyton's last year, 2018, Gardner Minshew.
And what a game.
Wait, did they win? They won that game, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They did.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Greatest day of my life.
I've always loved that about the Cougs, their ability to beat Oregon. That rocks. So let's talk a little bit more broadly. I know you recently I saw you post that you kind of missed-ish the computer aspect in terms of big wins of the BCS, and what the weight of big wins means now that the playoff will be selected by humans, and has been, but is 12 teams now, so worth mentioning again. How do you think that plays a factor? Let's say Wazoo keeps winning at this pace. What does that mean for Wazoo?
Yeah, when I said good wins, I was also just talking about style points is another term that people use when talking about college football voting. And people hate the term. I totally understand it because it's subjectivity, and that's where obviously all the controversy comes into play. But I think it's going to be the deciding factor when it's all said and done in that 12-13 slot, who ends up getting in, right? I think there's a lot of people that'll look at the SEC and say our strength of schedule is so good, we should get in over a insert 1-loss or insert 2-loss team from a different conference. And then on the flip side, you're going to have people that say, get out of here with style points. We can only win the games that are on our schedule. And if we're a one-loss team, we should be in over a two-loss team type of deal. And I think for the Cougs specifically, big picture, I don't think the good wins or style points helps the Cougs initially, just because that's going to, the eye test is another buzz term that I think falls into this family, is going to help some of these other teams. But I'll say this, if Texas Tech can keep winning and the Big 12 gets messy, that certainly would help the Cougs from an eye test style points perspective. And then the fact that Boise State is the Cougs' one loss, and Boise State could find themselves with a first-round bye. There's a scenario where that happens, and that certainly helps the Cougs. So it kind of works in both ways.
That had like parent-teacher conference vibes for a second. I was like, say something good, say something good, say something good.
So just going back to what you said about how, some people are going to care about style points, other people aren't. It feels like in some ways even though the landscape is changing, we're also sort of just like regurgitating the same issues and, qualms and also advantages of what it's always looked like, whether it was BCS, whether it was 4-team. How does it change now that it's 12 teams? How does it change for a conference, which is a conference, but is currently has an alignment with another conference like the Pac-12? What is the strength of schedule? What's the play in there? Like, how does this sort of paint the picture of what that all might look like for a conference like us? It's only 2 teams. It has an alignment. It's all so complex, so sticky.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to it. And I posted something last night of, your point about, hey, there was always controversy even with the BCS. There was controversy last year with, hey, who gets the 4th slot and who's left out at 5. This year there's controversy at, hey, who gets the 12th slot, who gets left out at 13th. But I think what surprised the average college football fan is, if you look at the rankings from last night, Georgia is the 13th team, and Georgia's fans can look themselves in the mirror and say, we have a legitimate national title caliber roster. And so if we are 13 on the outside looking in, I don't think people expected that team to be a national title caliber team. You expected that team to be worthy of, being competitive in the playoff and getting in, but not, hey, we could legitimately win a ring at the end of this whole thing, which is a unique element for me. But for the Cougs, I mean, obviously, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out moving forward with the new look Pac-12 and having a more auto bid potentially of, hey, it's the 4 highest ranked conference champions, which that verbiage is important because look at what could happen this year for Boise State. If Boise State keeps winning in the Big 12, if ASU beats BYU, if Kansas State beats BYU, there's a world where BYU is the number 4 ranked conference champ and the Big 12 champ is 5. And there's a world where the Big 12, there's a world where the Big 12 is left out of the playoff, which is crazy.
That's so wild.
But I say that because for Cougs fans in years looking ahead, if you were to run the table or a 1-loss Washington State and you're positioned against a 3-loss Big 12 champ, and oh, by the way, the Cougs have beat a Texas Tech, there's a world where you could leapfrog them. Obviously, it's a hypothetical and doesn't apply to this year, but that's how I think about it if I was a Coug fan.
It's beautiful to dream. Yeah.
As you should.
That's very important. What does the future look like for football? Are we going to 16? Are we going to 64? Is Mike Leach going to see his dreams come true? What is that?
What are Leach's dreams?
Didn't he want like 100 something? He was like, we should have like 100 team playoff or something. And we were like, brother, what are you talking about?
With the mascots dueling before the game or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it both ways, and I spend a lot of my time in ACC country nowadays, flying to Charlotte and whatnot. And if I was a Washington State or Oregon State fan, man, I would be looking at the Florida State is suing the ACC to try to get out of their contract, which I know is well documented. But that to me is a key piece for the Cougs and the Beavs, because if Florida State were to leave, that would spark another shakeup, and shakeup and chaos is good for the Pac-12 and the Cougs and the Beavs. As I look to your question, Ashtyn, of, hey, is it going to be 12, 16, 64? I think ultimately I go back and forth. That's the best way to put it. If you asked me that 2 months ago, I would have said we're on a track to a 2-team or a 2-league super conference, and then some sort of secondary type of conference with teams like Washington State and Oregon State, but also teams like ASU and Purdue and Oklahoma State and maybe a team like Minnesota and things like that. And how does that look? I don't know exactly, but I've also changed my mind over the past month of, I think long term, if I was the athletic director at an LSU or an Alabama or an Ohio State or a USC, I think you need these, what I'll call like second tier schools, to have a legitimate chance to win a national title, to keep overall interest in college football healthy. Mm-hmm. Because if we fast forward 20, 30, 40 years and it's only 20 teams that are controlling college football, I think the average football fan is going to view it as just like the NFL junior, and I'll just go pay attention to the NFL. And I think that could hurt college football long term.
Oof. Yikes. So maybe to end on a positive note, tell us what you're going to be working on the rest of the year, where we can find you, where everyone can see you.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, I still think however things shake out, Washington State, Oregon State will still be playing meaningful college football. So I guess from a positive standpoint, that's where I net out there, because love both those fan bases.
Guys, we didn't make him say that. He said that of his own free will.
100%.
That Venmo will not be for this. It's for something else.
Yep. Yeah, unrelated entirely.
You'll find me, though, calling games for the CW. I got like 4 left. I'll be calling the Snoop Dogg Bowl in December. It's presented by Gin and Juice. I was also not paid to say that. It's just a fun brand. So check it out there, and then posting content on social media every day.
Do you get to drink gin and juice during that?
With Snoop Dogg?
I have been told Snoop Dogg's coming into the booth. So whatever he brings, I shouldn't say whatever. If he's bringing something else, I don't know if I can.
It's legally binding.
Yeah. But hey, I'm down to have a good time at the Snoop Dogg Bowl. I'll put it that way.
Oh yeah, great. Well, we will maybe have you back on if you are interested at some point. There will be a lot more to talk about in a few weeks, certainly. So, we're thankful to have you, and we'll talk to you later, Max.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, always happy to pop on. And Ashtyn, Emma, good to chat.
What a fun little show we had this week. Thank you to Cooper. Thank you to Max. Had some banging insights from both of them. Emma got to talk to a tight end about his undies, which is a fun new first for the show.
Sure did. But let's take a look forward, though, at the games this week. So Beavs are taking on Air Force. Oregon State is trying to be bowl eligible. Ashtyn is very anxious. We are very hopeful. Our fingers, our toes, everything are crossed. There's a couple more tough ones coming up down the road for the Beavs, which we will not go into yet.
Thank you. We will not. And at the time of this recording, the number 18 Cougs should handle business as they have to take on the 4-6 New Mexico Lobos. I think they're the Lobos, right? Yep. Thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. The Cougs will hopefully, God willing, inch their way back up the rankings or down the rankings. I always get that up.
We want to be closer to number 1.
Yeah, which I think is up.
Whichever direction you want to take that.
I get that wrong all the time.
Let's get them to the playoff.
Hashtag get them to the playoff. Hashtag Heisman tier. Hashtag all the things. Yeah.
Do they do hashtags on Blue Sky? Because we're a Blue Sky family now. I don't know if you've heard through the grapevine.
I don't know if they do them, but we are a Blue Sky family.
Yeah, we made a Blue Sky, and we're going to be reposting some starter packs, which are essentially fans following fans, a couple of high-profile Cougs and Beavs, making little groups of people that we can all befriend, and it's going to be so fun.
You can automatically follow the entire group. It rocks. So we will see you on Blue Sky for the rest of the week, where Emma will be live posting 100 different games, I'm sure, especially on Saturday, as she does. And that's all she wrote.
Yeah, we'll see you next time when we're Pack in action.